Good morning, I'm Nolan Nichols. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. The LA Clippers rolled over the Oklahoma City Thunder in the opening game of their second round series, but while some are calling the Clippers America's team, Americans are split over whether the team should be forcibly taken from band owner Donald Sterling. A new CNN ORC poll finds 47% are in favor of NBA owners forcing Sterling to sell the team, while 50% are against that sale. Well, happening at the White House, the motorcade of the German Chancellor has arrived. She will meet with President Obama, and the focus will be on the crisis in Ukraine, specifically the need for allies to remain united against Russia's defiance of the West. But when the two leaders hold a news conference, we are told that the very first question will shift to the spotlight to Benghazi and the deadly terror attacks on the U.S. consulate there 19 months ago. It's firing up Republicans once again, who are outraged by a newly surfaced email from the State Department. Just 2 months before the presidential election, those emails suggest that the violence be portrayed as spontaneous and not terrorism, which could lead to blame being forced on failed policies. Reporter Jim Acosta has more on this story. Now let's shift our focus to the hunt for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. New polls offer some interesting insight into what Americans think about the search and what really happened. A new CNN ORC poll finds nearly 1 in 5 Americans believe that Flight 370 survivors are still out there, while 79% believe that no one survived, and a slight majority of Americans think the plane went down near the search area. And in just a few hours from now, officials from Malaysia, China, and Australia will regroup to determine the next search area. 62 days have passed, and passengers' families have waited in agonizing limbo with no signs of their loved ones, no debris, and no physical clues. Australian officials estimate the next search phase may cost $60 million. Well, there's nothing that grips the country quite like the NCAA Tournament, and tonight we'll get to know the people behind all the pageantry that will play out in AT&T Stadium over the next few days. We start with Kentucky coach John Calipari. As engaging and controversial as he is, Calipari has had some spectacular success in the past 3 years, with teams loaded with one-and-done players who plan to attend 1 year of college before bolting early for the NBA draft. It's not easy getting to the final weekend here. For 13 years, Coach Bo Ryan's Wisconsin teams have made the bracket, but they were never able to advance to this last 4 until now. Of course, just because you can't play doesn't mean you can't watch. And in 1976, Ryan and his dad, Butch, began a wonderful tradition, a father-son road trip every year for 38 straight years to see these Final Four games. Butch Ryan died 6 months ago at the age of 89, and now Bo sits down to talk about finally experiencing what both he and his dad had dreamed of. Well, there are a few people in sports as polarizing as NBA Commissioner David Stern. Depending on what city he's in, he's either loudly booed by tens of thousands or cheered as a conquering hero. But no matter what you think of him, you can't argue the game of basketball has been profoundly changed by his 3 decades on the job. And as he prepares to step down next week, he sat down with CNN's Rachel Nichols. Well, Virginia Tech has hired a new basketball coach to replace former head coach James Johnson after just 2 seasons. Buzz Williams will become the newest head coach of the Hokies, coming from Marquette University. And while at Marquette, Williams took the Golden Eagles to the NCAA tournaments 5 times in his 6 seasons, which could make this hire a big move for the future of Virginia Tech basketball. Williams will be introduced as the new head coach Monday night at 6 p.m. in Castle Coliseum. The event will also serve as a press conference and is open to the public to attend. That is all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.